up? This is my wrestling thoughts of the week from WWE, TNA, and Ring of Honor. First off, obviously, the biggest news topic and news discussion of this week comes from WWE, and that is the departure of Ric Flair from WWE. And actually, as far as this, don't know where it's going to lead to. Obviously, it's probably going to give him some possible time to do some autograph signings for a lot of different independent organizations. And it could be good and could be something good out of this, possibly some relationship building with the NWA. They wanted him for the NWA Hall of Fame this year. Obviously, WWE declined that, so possibly next year he might be able to get inducted into the NWA Hall of Fame, do an induction speech there, and do something on the lines with NWA and a couple other independent organizations. And as far as this Ric Flair departure, obviously this kind of did come out of nowhere pretty much. Because Ric Flair did have, pretty much a comfortable job with WWE for at least 2 to 3 more years. Possibly, be one of those wrestlers to have a full-time gig with WWE. Because Vince was actually going to do that. And he was probably going to get paid $500,000 a year. So in the short term, he's going to make more money on the independent scene for at least a year, year and a half until the commodity and the drawing of people wanting to see him on indie shows doesn't diminish. But, this is going to really hurt him in the long run, though. It probably would have been smarter for him to stay with WWE, just have a, cushy office job. But, possibly us wrestling fans are going to see something great out of this. I don't know if this is going to have him ever wrestle another match outside of WWE and have it be in a, independent federation, possibly, Gabe Sapolsky and Kerry Silkins. They did want to book Ric Flair and Kenta Kobashi for, a moment with having basically a handshake between each other at the last Hammerstein show, but WWE declined that. Obviously, TNA is probably constantly trying to call Ric Flair, possibly, a Ric Flair and Sting match at some point in the future when Sting ends his time with TNA. That probably would be something they would want to do. Or just have him in some type of managerial role in either Ring of Honor or TNA. It'll work out better. Obviously, if he goes and works full-time for someone, it's obviously going to be TNA because obviously they have the money backing them. And then the best thing out of this is one thing I've been waiting for a long time, and fans of shoot interviews, possibly we might be able to be seeing a Ric Flair shoot interview sometime in the future. Obviously, the different places that do shoot interviews are obviously fighting over which one can do it first. Obviously, probably got high spots, RF video, kayfabe commentaries, and, a commodity like Ric Flair, Ring of Honor might even bring back the straight shooting series for him. Just do a shoot because no matter which company is going to sell it, if and when he ever does do it, it's going to sell like hotcakes, so it's going to be something that's going to help out, no matter what company it goes for. Obviously, I'm hoping that Ring of Honor is able to get, him to do an appearance maybe 1 or 2 times, especially in one of the Hammerstein shows, and possibly do a shoot interview. That could be something great to see. But then the other topic is also from WWE as well, and that's Mick Foley. Now, Mick Foley isn't going to want to depart from WWE. He's going to still want to have a backstage position with WWE. He just doesn't want to do the commentating anymore on SmackDown, even though him and Jim Ross are pretty much gelling well together. The main problem he's having with it is that Vince McMahon, is in the ears of everyone when they're commentating, so Mick Foley doesn't really like having Vince McMahon on his heels every second that he's doing commentating. And from what I've heard of any commentators that ever talked about this and how much control Vince McMahon has with, what they say and what they don't say, it definitely sounds like it's a pain in the ass to do commentating for WWE. I know Joey Styles didn't like doing it at all at first, and then I guess he came along with it. But obviously Vince McMahon's going to try his best to keep Mick Foley, I guess, still as an announcer. I think his contract is going to be ending sometime at the beginning of September or mid-September, so don't know what to look from him. He's obviously, in my opinion, going to stay with WWE. I can't see him leaving. Then, still some other WWE news is the release of Braden Walker, a.k.a. Chris Harris, from the ECW brand. And anyone that thought this was a shocker, I don't know what you're thinking. I saw this coming. Obviously, it was shocked that he even got on TV. I didn't even think he would have gotten that far. I thought they were just have him in development, and he'd be one of those wrestlers that just basically get out of their contract before they even get on TV. So it was just good for him to get on TV, and he didn't look like he was trying to do anything well there. And his promo skills were lackluster, so I understand why WWE didn't use him. As far as a wrestling talent and his in-ring work is good, but definitely he isn't in the same shape as he once was. So obviously WWE probably looked at that and didn't want to use him. Don't know if we'll see him go back to TNA at some point in the future, possibly an AMW reunion, because I really think that is what Chris Harris and James Storm need severely, is the rebirth of AMW, because it's going to really help both of their careers, in my opinion. Then as far as TNA, obviously we got the Hard Justice pay-per-view this Sunday. A little too much over gimmick matches on there. I'll give you my preview / predictions probably tomorrow, sometime mid-afternoon or night. And as far as Ring of Honor, pretty much the only thing I want to pass along in Ring of Honor is, obviously, if you haven't seen the replay of Respect Is Earned, there to be a couple replays this coming weekend of the pay-per-view on In Demand on, I think, either In Demand 3 or In Demand 4. And other things from Ring of Honor is they're running a sale today and tomorrow. It's depending on when you order it. Obviously, when you're seeing this video, you already passing. You can't get the 35% off, but I think tonight to either midnight or something like that, they got 33% off. Then up until 9 a.m. in the morning tomorrow, it's going to be 30% off. So definitely that's a good thing to catch up on some Ring of Honor DVDs. And this is not just Ring of Honor DVDs. This is on all their DVDs, the WWE, TNA, Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Noah, WXW, Shimmer, and any of those great DVDs that you can pick up, obviously at a very good discount and very good price. That's the one thing Ring of Honor does best on their site, is their sales. And definitely, if you want to get any recent WWE DVDs, they got that in there. TNA pay-per-views or anything, basically anything on the site. Like I said, you can get for a discount of at least 30%, at least until I think tomorrow at 9 a.m. But knowing Ring of Honor, they'll probably extend it to Sunday morning. Now, I'm just saying that they probably will. That's not a definite fact that they will, but it's been a known fact that whenever they do these big sales, they at least extend it for another 12 to 24 hours. So, yeah, that's basically just all my thoughts of this week as far as wrestling news. As far as, wrestling TV this week, I saw Raw. Batista and John Cena are now the tag team champions. That's been done over and over, and, it's one of those things I don't understand why WWE wants to do, is they think, oh, we can make this feud seem more if we give these two rivals tag championships and have them play off that they hate each other, but they still have to hold on to the tag titles. It's been one of those things that I think they started doing it in, like, 95 or 96. I remember they did it with, I think they did it with Austin and Shawn Michaels and a few other ones even before that. So this is a novelty that WWE just loves doing. As far as Raw, you didn't really see that much into it. As far as the world title matches for SummerSlam, very, very lackluster. Cena and Batista, that looks like it could be a good match, and the Hell in a Cell is going to be good. But as far as JBL and Punk, lackluster. The ECW title match, piece of shit. And the same thing goes for the SmackDown World title with Khali and Triple H. Hopefully CM Punk and JBL can surprise us and put on something good. Didn't see ECW, so I can't really comment on that. Watched a little of Impact last night. Just the one thing they need to do better is improve their Impact programming. I thought last night, they were doing a little too much gimmick-fied stuff. If you're already doing that on pay-per-view, why do you want to do it the 3 days before the pay-per-view? It just kills, any type of gimmick match. And trust me, when I do my preview and predictions, I'll definitely give out a better rant for that pay-per-view, because there's a lot of things on that pay-per-view I think are very terrible at booking. And, it looks like, the basically run that TNA was having, Slammiversary and Victory Road, were good pay-per-views. It's going to shock me if Hard Justice is good, but what are we supposed to expect? It is Hard Justice, and just remember what Hard Justice was last year, and yeah, that's it. Peace.